All right, so I thought I'd share a quick firefighting story with you guys. So back in the day, when I had less than a year on, you're always on probation your first year, an old head came up to me. He says, "Kid, how do you like your first year on the job?" And I said, "Yeah, I really like it. I'm enjoying it. This is a lot to learn. It's a lot of fun. Really, really enjoying this." He says, "Yeah, I remember my first year on the job." He goes, "I remember my first house fire I had." And I said, "Oh yeah?" And he said, "Yeah, it was 1970. He says, "I was brand new." And so I'm probably 24 or 25 when he's telling me this. And he says, we get a structure fire. And so we get there first, and I got to take the hose in through the door, what we call a lead. And he says, there was fire everywhere. And he says, so I got to go in there and thinking, yeah, this is what I got hired to do. And he's putting out all the fire. He says, a lot of fire in there. And he says, all of a sudden, I have two hands grab my shoulders, and I hear this high-pitched screeching behind me. He goes, now I was raised a good Catholic boy, and I was already in fire. I just figured that I was going to die because a screaming demon from hell had grabbed me and I was going to die right there. He got me. He says, I was done. I resigned myself to the fact that I was done. And I said, what on earth? And he says, yeah. He says, what it turned out to be later, as we found out, he said, there was an old Vietnam vet that lived there in the house. And he was constantly fighting with his wife or girlfriend, wasn't sure which one it was. And I said, really? He goes, yeah. The screaming demon from hell ended up being a pet monkey that he had smuggled into his house. And what he had done, the cause of the fire later, was a grenade. This guy had smuggled a grenade or grenades back, as they found more. And he believes, because the cops had always been going to this house on calls because these two were fighting. And he says what he believes happened was that this guy blew himself and his girlfriend up with a grenade. Later on, when the smoke was clearing out and the fire was extinguished, they found part of a rib cage up in the rafters. He said they found more grenades and other stuff that this guy had brought back. And he says, so yeah, that was my first house fire. The screaming demon from hell, first house fire. And I just listened to this with my mouth open. And the phrase, you can't make this stuff up, really fit this house fire that he told me about. So I have no way of knowing how true it was or documented, but the details of it. And he said somebody else on the job at that time with him was at that same fire with him and on his crew when he went in. But that story truly fits the adage of you can't make this stuff up. That's your firefighting story of the day. I hope you like it.